Hello everyone and welcome to a new video of Your Polyglot Academy. Now today, in this new lesson of how to learn French in 50 days with SML, or in this new video, we're going to cover lessons 33 and lessons 33 and 34, so let's go. Now firstly, we're going to start with lesson 33, and as always, please listen to the dialogue twice, and if you're ready, let's go. Here's the dialogue for lesson 33.
33e leçon.
Je n'ai rien dans ma garde-robe.
Ah, c'est toi, Margot. Entre et assieds-toi.
Je ne vous dérange pas? Je peux revenir si vous voulez.
Tu ne nous déranges pas du tout. Qu'est-ce que tu veux?
J'ai besoin d'une nouvelle robe d'été. Aidez-moi à la choisir.
Tu en as besoin ou tu en as envie? Ce n'est pas la même chose.
Je sais bien, mais quelle importance? Je veux en acheter une. Je n'ai rien dans ma garde-robe. Tous mes vêtements sont vieux.
Bien, regardons en ligne. Tu connais ce site, mode.fr? Choisissez parmi des milliers de modèles pour trouver le vêtement de vos rêves. C'est génial! Tu trouves tout. Des robes, des jupes, des pulls, des manteaux. Ce n'est pas vraiment bon marché, mais les prix sont raisonnables. Regarde, ce chemisier est joli, n'est-ce pas? Il existe en rouge, en bleu et en orange.
Je cherche une robe verte, noire ou bleue. Pas un chemisier orange ou jaune.
Et celle-là, qu'est-ce que tu en penses? C'est très chic.
Non, je ne vois rien qui m'intéresse. Mais merci quand même. À demain.
Now, did you understand everything? Well, I hope so. In case that you maybe would like to know the meaning of some of the new vocabulary, then here's the translation of the dialogue. So it's the 33rd lesson, and the title is I Have Nothing in My Wardrobe. Ah, it's you, Margot. Come in and sit down. I'm not disturbing you, am I? I can come back if you want. You're not disturbing us at all. What do you want? I need a new summer dress. Help me to choose it. You need one or you want one. It's not the same thing. I know very well, but what does it matter? I want to buy one. I have nothing in my wardrobe. All my clothes are old. Well, let's look online. Do you know the site mode.fr? Choose among thousands of models to find the item of clothing of your dreams. It's fantastic. You can find everything: dresses, skirts, jumpers, coats. It's not really cheap, but the prices are reasonable. Look, this blouse is pretty, isn't it? It comes in red, blue, and orange. I'm looking for a green, black, or blue dress, not an orange or yellow blouse. And this one, what do you think? It's very stylish. No, I can't see anything that interests me. But thank you all the same. See you tomorrow. So this was the translation of the 33rd lesson. Now, as always, we're going to get into the notes, which is essentially one of the most important parts of these lessons. So on the first one, here's another example of the lexical links between French and English. Over the centuries, une garde-robe, plural garde-robe, literally keep dress, evolved into a wardrobe. Now on the second remark, remember that the second person singular imperative of er verbs has no final s. Tu entres, entre, without an s. You come in, come in. However, for all regular and most irregular ir and re verbs, the imperative is identical to the indicative, so tu attends would be attendre. You're simply avoiding the pronoun, but the verb remains the same. Now, on the third remark, when used with the imperative, the direct object pronouns me and te become moi and toi. Vous me donnez la clé, donnez-moi la clé. Tu t'assieds, assieds-toi. So this is also very important to notice. This is only possible when accompanied by the imperative. Now, on the first note, we saw pas du tout, not at all, used on its own, lesson 3, as an emphatic negative. The phrase can also be used after a verb. Je ne le connais pas du tout. I don't know them at all. Now, on the fifth remark, here's another negative construction formed with ne and an adverb. See lesson 32, note 5. In this case, rien. Je n'ai rien à faire à la maison. I have nothing to do at home. Il ne le voit rien la nuit. He can't see anything at night. Remember also that pas is not used in this type of construction. Otherwise, it would create a double negative. Now, on the sixth note, this is also another example of a word that can be singular in French but not in English, as we already saw, for example, in lesson 27, note 5. Les vêtements means clothes, and an example would be ses vêtements sont chic, his or her clothes are smart, whereas un vêtement is an item of clothing. Ce vêtement est trop petit. This piece of clothing is too small. Now, in practice, we would generally use another, more precise word in English, this coat, etc. But un vêtement is standard French. Now, on the seventh note, mille is 1,000, so un millier is approximately 1,000, just like dix and une dizaine, as we already saw in lesson 19, note 3, and cent and une centaine, as from lesson 32, note 3. It, too, has a plural form. Des milliers de gens would mean thousands of people, and it's masculine, not feminine, so please be aware of that. Now, on the eighth note, the compound adjective bon marché, which means good market, means inexpensive, cheap, with no negative connotation. Now, it is also invariable. Voici une liste des hôtels bon marché à Bordeaux. Here is a list of inexpensive hotels in Bordeaux. Now, a synonym would be pas cher, not expensive, but in this case, the adjective agrees. Des hôtels pas chers, so you have an S at the end of cher. Now, on the ninth note, when used as adjectives, colors generally agree with the noun and number and gender. Un manteau bleu, a blue coat. Des jupes bleues, blue skirts. Now, of course, if the masculine adjective ends in I or E, it does not change. So, un pull jaune would become une robe jaune. So you don't have any changes in that. Now, if you understood everything, or at least the most important aspects of that, then I would please you to do the exercises. So this is exercise number 1.
Exercice 1. Traduisez.
Entrez et asseyez-vous. Vous ne nous dérangez pas.
Et celui-ci, qu'est-ce que vous en pensez?
Est-ce que nous pouvons vous aider?
Non, mais merci quand même.
Nous pouvons revenir demain ou après-demain si tu veux.
Ce vêtement est un peu trop petit, mais il est joli et bon marché.
And this is exercise number 2, where you'll have to fill in the missing words. Now, if you would like to, you can also submit your exercises in the comments so that I can correct them and give you feedback whether you understood it fully or not. But that's your choice. And if you have any questions or whatsoever, you can either write a comment to pose your question or simply contact me privately. Now, if you have no doubts or whatsoever, then we can continue with lesson 34. Okay, so in lesson 34, as always, we're going to have a dialogue. So we're going to start with a dialogue, then we're going to cover the most important notes on the dialogue, and then we're going to finish up the lesson with exercises. So if you're ready, let's start. Here's the dialogue for the lesson number 34.
34e leçon.
Les randonneurs.
Je ne cours plus parce que j'ai trop mal au genou. Je souffre énormément. Mais je ne peux pas rester sans rien faire. Cette année, je fais une marche de 70 km entre les villes de Colmar et Strasbourg, en Alsace. Je pars bien avant le soleil de midi et j'arrive le lendemain vers 20h. Je m'arrête à mi-chemin, près de Célestat, pour manger et dormir. J'y passe la nuit et repars après le petit déjeuner.
Vous faites cette randonnée tout seul? Ou avec d'autres gens?
Avec des copains. Ils l'organisent 4 fois par an, y compris en automne et en hiver. Le temps est souvent pluvieux et il peut faire très froid, mais ce n'est pas grave.
Tu veux dire qu'il pleut ou il neige tout le temps? Moi, je ne mets pas le nez dehors.
Oui, mais la pluie ne me gêne pas et je ne sens pas le froid.
Moi, mon moment préféré, c'est l'arrivée. On va tout de suite au café. Le patron ouvre la porte et nous dit « C'est moi qui offre la tournée. Qu'est-ce que je vous sers ?»
So, did you understand everything or anything? Well, I hope so. In case that you would like to know the translation of some of the expressions that were mentioned, here's the translation of the dialogue. So it's the 34th lesson, and the title is The Hikers. I don't run anymore because my knees hurt too much. I'm in great pain, but I can't stay here without doing anything. This year, I'm doing a 70 kilometers walk between the cities of Colmar and Strasbourg in Alsace. I leave well before the noon sun and I arrive the following day around 8 p.m. I stop halfway near Celestat to eat and sleep. I spend the night there and leave again after breakfast. Are you doing this hike alone or with other people? With some mates. They organize it 4 times a year, including in autumn and winter. The weather is often rainy and it can be very cold, but it doesn't matter. You mean that it rains or it snows all the time? Me, I never go outside. Yes, but the rain doesn't bother me, and I don't feel the cold. For me, my favorite moment is the arrival. We go straight away to the cafe. The boss opens the door and says to us, "It's my round. What can I get you?" So this was the dialogue for this lesson. Now, as always, after the dialogue, we're going to get into the notes so you can kind of understand better some expressions that were mentioned, or maybe some new vocabulary, some new grammatical rules. So let's get into them. Now, on the first note, this is final subcategory of third group verbs, which end in ir, but are irregular, unlike group 2 verbs. That include, for example, courir, to run, dormir, to sleep, sentir, to feel, servir, to serve, ouvrir, to open, souffrir, to suffer, offrir, to offer. See also lesson 29, note 7, etc. And the endings are, for example, je cours, tu cours, il elle court, nous courons, vous courez, il elle court. So now you know how they kind of look. Now, on the second note, normally the plural of nouns ending in ou is formed by adding an s. So en trou, a hole, des trous. But a handful, including en genou, a knee, en bijou, a jewel, and en caillou, a pebble, take an x. Now, there are 7 of these nouns in all, but these 3 are the most common, so don't even bother learning the other ones. Now, on the third note, rien can mean both anything or nothing, as we already saw in lesson 33, note 5. Note also that the place of this pronoun, which, unlike English, comes before the verb. Il ne peut rien faire pour toi. He can't do anything for you. So this is also fundamental to remember. On the fourth note, mi is a shortened form of demi, half. It is used in a number of expressions, notably à mi-chemin, half path, halfway. Célestat est à mi-chemin entre Colmar et Strasbourg. Célestat is halfway between Colmar and Strasbourg. Now, on the fifth note, we know that the adverb y means there, as in il y a. But it can also be used to avoid repeating a noun, just like en, lesson 31, note 2. Tu connais Colmar? J'y habite. Do you know Colmar? I live there, instead of j'habite à Colmar. Like rien, note 3, y also comes before the verb. Can also be used in the expression y compris, including. Toute la famille est invitée, y compris ton frère. The whole family is invited, including your brother. Now, in this case, you can also remember that y has no intrinsic meaning. Now, on the sixth note, use another very common vernacular word. Un copain, feminine une copine, means a pal, a mate. Depending on the context, the term can be used for a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Le copain de Noémie est un artiste qui s'appelle Florian. Noémie's boyfriend is an artist called Florian. And this is also a phenomenon that happens in German. And now finally, on the last note for today, note number 7, like une course, lesson 29, note 4, le temps has 2 meanings, the time and the weather. Despite the final S, the word is singular. The context should make it easy to tell the difference, but remember this mnemonic just in case. Je n'ai pas le temps pour ce mauvais temps. I don't have time for this bad weather. En temps can also mean a verb tense. The futur simple est en temps de l'indicatif. The future simple is an indicative tense. See also lesson 8, note number 3. Now, if you understood everything, then, or at least I would say 80% of what I explained, then you can continue with the exercises. So, first with exercise number 1.
Exercice 1. Traduisez.
Je connais très bien Strasbourg. J'y habite.
Je me sens un peu fatiguée. Je dors tout le temps.
Nous ne pouvons rien faire pour vous. Il est trop tard.
Qu'est-ce que je te sers? Un café ou une bière?
Ne mettez pas le nez dehors. Il fait trop froid.
And directly after that with exercise number 2, where we have to fill in the missing words. Now, as always, thanks for joining in for today. If you have any questions or whatsoever, feel free to leave a comment. And other than that, thanks for listening and see you next time. Bye bye.